We are beginning the lesson 21. The page Vav 6, the left column, the line 16. We are going on with the Marota Sulam, where he explains to us different a range of numbers that we met beforehand in the Zohar. And he has started the last lesson to explain us the number 13, Yud Gimel. And let's go further. 16. V'noda she'ein barosh de'ari hanpin de'atzilut ela 17 bet sfirot keter v'chochma hanikraot ketra v'chochma 18 stimata v'abina shelo yatsa mirosh de'ari hanpin 19 ונעשתה לבחינת גוף, דהיינו, רק וק בחוסר 20 המוחין דראש. First I will just give a plain translation, and then we will see what we can add to it. ונודע, and it is known, שאין בראש דארי חנפין דאצילות אלא בית ספירות, that in the rosh, in the head of the Ari Hanpin of the world Atzilut, that there are only 2 sfirot, Keter and Chochma, Hanikraot, that are called in the language of the Kabbalah, Ketra, so this is in the Aramaic, and the Chochma is called Chochma Stimata. Chochma Stimata means a hidden Chochma. 18. V'abina shelo, and it's bina, the bina of the Partsuf Ari Hanpin. Yatsa mirosh da Ari Hanpin, went out of the head of the Ari Hanpin. The 19 v'nasta levchinat guf, and became an aspect of guf, and it became a guf. Dehainu, that means rak vak, only vak. A vak is vav ktsavot, 6 endings. Bachoser amochin 20 derosh, with the lack of mochin of the rosh point. And another sentence, just will finish this fragment, and then I'll try to explain something. 20 after the point. V'ze sod Abba hotziet ima 21 lechutz umisiba zo nichlaka habina lebet pchinot 22 gar v'zat. point. 22 after the point. With the thought, and this is the secret of what is written, Abba hotzi et ima, the Abba, the father, brought the ima outside, lachutz, outside. 21. It's written somewhere in the Torah. Umisiba zo, and because of this, nichlaka habina lebet pchinot, the bina is divided in two aspects. Double point. 22. Gar, the three gar means, this is the abbreviation. Gar, Gimel, double apostrophe. R, it means Gar, means Gimel Rishonot, the three first Sfirot. And Zat, and 7 Zayin Tachtonot. It means 7 lower Sfirot. So we had a lot of information, and we don't know how to place them, to place it all. And now we'll try to understand this, what he's speaking about. So he said, 16, it is known, that it is known that in the Rosh of the Arichanpin is the Keter of the world, Atzilut, that in its head there are only 2 Sfirot, Keter and Chochmah. And this because of the Tzimtzum Bet, of the second restriction. And we spoke about this, that the Malchut rised up and stands now in the Katnut, under the Chochmah, in every stage, in every single Sphira, in every Parzuf, and in every and all worlds. Because if we say that something took place, in general, that it must also be effect in all the stages, places, everywhere in a particular. So the Arichanpin is the first Parzuf that is built up according to the second restriction. And the second restriction, you remember this, is absolutely necessary for the correction of the universe. And by the second restriction is the world created. It means the world is created due to or by the union of the Malchut, that is Din, with Binah, that is Rachamim, mercy. In such a combination, such a combination allows the world exist and to come to its final destination. This is only in the world was realized. This was firstly realized in the world Atzilut, where all the lights, all the blessings, everything comes from this area of the world Atzilut. And so he says to us that the Arichanpin, the Keter of this world Atzilut, in this Keter of Atzilut, there are only two Sfirot, Keter and Chochmah, as normally in every Partsuf of after the second restriction, whereas Binah and Zeir Anpin and Malchut descended in the adjacent lower Parsuf, in the Keter Chochmah of the lower Parsuf. And that's what he says. And the Binah, and this is a great tikkun that is made, correction that is made in the world Atzilut. Because, you see, the Binah is now the Malchut raised up and now stands in the place of the general place of the Binah. Yes, so next to the Chochmah, and became a feminine part of the Chochmah instead of the natural partner of the Chochmah, the Binah. And the Binah went down because there is also a law, a spiritual law, that two entities can stand in one place. So Malchut raised here to the Binah, stands in the place of the Binah, and the Binah is now descended to the lower part of the Arichanpin, and the lower part of the Rosh, of the head, is the Guf, the body. And this all took place from above, all this construction, in order to enable the lower levels to receive from the upper, and enables the lower levels to rise up to the upper levels. Why? Because now from this point we see that the lower part of every higher level are immersed in the higher parts of the lower levels. So it means that Keter and Chochmah in every level is staying on its place in the level and receives the light, whereas Binah, Zeir Anpin and Malchut are descended into the adjacent lower part. And now, when when a lower part will want and will better its life, it means will strive to choose for good, and good is what is above in every part, in every level, Keter Chochmah of the Kilim, where it receives the light. So when a lower part asks for help, for wants to correct itself and to rise up, then the Keter and Chochmah, then the lower part, it rises up to the Keter and Chochmah, the sparks that allow to connect to the lower part of the higher level, and then the lower part of the higher level rises up back to its own level and takes with it the higher level Keter and Chochmah of the lower to the higher level. Then it receives then the light from the higher level, etc. Maybe it sounds a little bit like theory now, you don't feel it, doesn't matter. Step by step, you will see, you will feel how it works. But nothing can be realized without the awakening from beneath. This is the law. Always awaken yourself for the good. Without awakening of yourself, nothing comes. Nothing will come. So he says that the Keter and Chochmah remains in the head, in the Rosh of the Arichanpin, and the Binah is descended and became Guf. If the lower, the higher, a highest level, a higher entity descends to the lower, it becomes like lower. Means that it uses the same properties, the same qualities that the lower uses, only for correction. But when the lower level corrects itself, then this descended part of the higher level doesn't need to stay below, but returns back to its own place and takes with it the higher level of the lower level. So now the Binah descended to the Guf of the Arichanpin. The Guf means Chesed, Gvura, Tiferet of the Arichanpin. And now it has the same quality, the same property, the same as the Guf has. The Guf the body has, is the formula of the goof is vak, is 6 endings. Without head, a body has no head. So also the Binah became like this. And due to this, Binah, as it were, now has 6 endings, like Zeir Anpin. So she, as it were, became similar to him, to Zeir Anpin, by qualities, the same structure, as it were. He has 6 and Binah has 6. But Binah has also something that Zeir Anpin doesn't have. So we will see how it works, that by this descending, everything is getting possible, the correction and the coming to the final destination. Moreover, by this descending of the Binah, by this tikkun, no more can happen. The shattering of the kilim will never again be possible, because all the shattering of the kilim was because the Binah was united with the head, in the head, and there were 10 sferot in the Binah, and the Binah could give the light of Chokhmah to the zone, to Zeir Anpin and Nukwa. And it passed through the Malchut of the Tzimtzum bed. You remember that Malchut rised up as a result of the second restriction. The end Malchut also rised to the Tiferet, and then when the light came and tried to go through this, then the Kilim shattered. Now the Binah is not in the head anymore, and she is down, she descended into the goof. Now she has no power of mocking of the head. The light of Gadlut doesn't come to her automatically. So this Binah is very important, what I try to say. This Binah that descended now into the goof became, as it were, as a kind of a buffer between the upper, the world, the Keter and Chokhmah of the Arich Anpin, where the real or Licht Chokhmah or Chokhmah is, and the lower worlds. That's why they would be able to unite themselves with the Binah, rise up easily, because all the tikkun in the creation is due to prolonging and widening the kilim and lessening of lights. So if we make more kilim, more levels of kilim, then we eventually could be able to receive more light and more intensive light. this we see, this phenomenon, we see also this with the Binah that descended to the Guf of Arich Anpin. Very, very important. This is a crucial moment. And this was due to this second restriction. And this he gives us an he approved confirmation from a phrase somewhere in the holy literature, that Abba hotziet imalachut, that Abba, the father, brought Ima, the mother, outside. And the Ima is now is divided now into two parts, Gar and Zat. Three first, Sfirot and Zat. He will explain us. It's also a great thing that we need to know. And the 7 lower Sfirot of the Binah. Now is she divided, now she stands in the Guf, now is she divided in two different units. Because in the head, look, in the head, there is no division. In the head we have 10 Sfirot in the Keter, 10 Sfirot in the Chokhmah, and 10 Sfirot in the Binah. Keter gives to the Chokhmah, Chokhmah receives this light of Chokhmah, and gives to the Binah, Binah doesn't want it, as it were, reflects it, and she says, she is with this Chokhmah, but she prefers the Chasadim. This is what we see, 10 Sfirot of Chokhmah in the head, all of them in the head, only, as it were, her quality is Chasadim. She doesn't want to receive the Chokhmah. But now is happening something special with this Binah. She is now in the body of the Arich Anpin, and there is a law that when a spiritual object, and this is spiritual object what we are speaking about, units object, that when a spiritual object changes its quality or its property in such a way that from the moment when it changes its qualities, its properties significantly, that it is significant differs from the original property of this level or this unit or this spiritual object, then that part that is changed, that has different property, takes its own place and is called on its own name. It becomes an separate unit. And on the contrary, when there are two separate objects, two separate spiritual objects, Einplay. And one of these, by it works, by become resembles more the properties of the other object, spiritual object, then in this measure of this resemblance, they are equal to each other. And now we are going further with the Zohar. So now he will probably want to explain to us this division now of the Binah of Arich Anpin in these two aspects. Gar, 3 first, Sfirot, and Zad, 7 lower, under lower Sfirot. It's crucial to learn this, because everything what we are learning is the relationship between the light and Kli. Nothing exists in the world. Only light and Kli. Light is what you can say everything light. Light is pleasure. Every kind of pleasure on different levels is called light. Sensual, you can say also that in different levels, even material, in the material world we have the same reflection of the light, of the spiritual light. So only this exists, the light or pleasure and receiver of this pleasure, the Kli. And that's all what we learn. And that's why in this connection is very important to know this division now in Gar and Zat of the Binah. Why? Because everything will receive from the Binah. Yeah, from the Binah receives the Zeir Anpin. The Zeir Anpin gives it to the Binah, and the Binah gives this light to the soul, to the souls. So it is crucial to learn this now, what's going on with this Binah. And doesn't matter that it's so high. We know that what is in general or in a higher world must be present in the lower world. 23. Vehu mita'am ki hapgam dechisaron mochin de rosh. 24. Eino pogea klal begar de bina lihiota rak or 25 chasadim מעצם מהותה ב10 ספירות דאור ישר. Here we can place a point, actually better in the line 26 after the bracket. Vehu, and this is, he says, about this division of the Binah. And this is mita'am because ki hapagam hachisaron, because the defect, the defectance, or maybe because the defectance of the defectiveness, maybe you can say it, of the lack of the mochin de Rosh, of the light of the Rosh. And in the Rosh, light in the head, we call it mochin. So this, the lack of this mochin of the Rosh, of the head, 24, Eino pogea klal begarde bina, doesn't touch at all the garde bina, the three first sphirot of the bina. You see, the bina, the first I will translate it, plain translation, then I will give some explanation. Liyutarak ora chasadim, because the bina, and bina is feminine, because she is only ora chasadim, the light of chasadim, the light of loving kindness, like this. Me'etzem mehuta, out of her own as essence, be'eser sfirot the Or Yashar, in the 10 sfirot of the Or Yashar, of the direct light point. What did he say? That now the Binah descended from the head, yes? And now she is in the Guf of Arihanpin. When she was in the head, she received as much as possible as she wanted Chochmah, Mochin de Rosh, because in the head you have Mochin de Rosh, the light of the head. She didn't want it, but she preferred the light of Chasadim, or Chasadim, but she had it in abundance. But now the Binah is descended into the Guf, and in the Guf, in the body. They don't have the Mochin de Rosh, the light of the head. Yes, they have the light of the Guf, they can receive, but not the light of the head. And what he says to us is that this defect or deficiency doesn't touch the Binah. Now she stands in the Guf, and the three first sphirot of her doesn't feel this as a damage. Why? He says because she is only, or she prefers only the Or Chasadim from the 10 Sfirot of Or Yashar. What does it mean? You remember probably that before the light entered into the whole place that will be called the universe, that the light itself had undergone the 4 stages. You remember that? The Ein Sof has now nothing it's undergone, as it were, the next stage of it, there's 4 stages. So Keter, Chochmah, Binah, Zeir Anpin, 4 stages, and the 5th is that became Malchut. So at the Binah of this, and we call it the Yud Sfirot, the 10 Sfirot of the direct light. These are the 4 stages of transformation of the light, preparing, as it were, in the light itself, were all preparations made, as it were, to engrave the future creation. And in these 10 Sfirot of Or Yashar, actually we speak about 5 Sfirot, but he says 10 because the Zeir Anpin has 6. The Bina came from the Chokhmah, was actually the result of the Chokhmah, and first she saw, as it were, that Chokhmah only received from Keter, and then the Binah, initially, the first 3 the first 3 points of this Sphira, it was still not Sphira, it was the light, Bina, didn't want to resemble the Chokhmah, but preferred the Keter, because the Keter was giver, and she also didn't want to resemble to the Chokhmah, but she wanted to resemble to the Keter. How? First of all, not to receive the Chokhmah, or not to enjoy the Chokhmah, but to prefer giving, and giving is Or Chasadim. So, and both of course, both of these qualities, properties of giving, and both of these properties are in the Keter. The Keter has this Chokhmah and gives it to the or Chokhmah gives to the Chokhmah, but itself Keter is actually Or Chasadim. The quality of Keter is Or Chasadim. Why? Keter doesn't have in itself we will see any aviyut, any thickness. Everything is only in potence. So the Binah didn't want to receive this light Chokhmah, but in 3 of her Sfirot, or in 3 of her upper, let's say, when she has the 10, 10 pieces. So in 3 of her first pieces in her development, she didn't want to receive the light Chokhmah, but only a light Chasadim. But then she realized, after passing the 3 stages in her own development, she realized that she only partly resembles the Keter. Because Keter doesn't need anyone. The Keter doesn't have anyone to receive from whom can receive the Keter. In every Keter is a representative of the Ein Sof. From who can Keter receive? So this was her first intention, not to receive from the Chokhmah, but only to give to the giver, the Keter. But then she realized after the 3 stages, 3 spheros, 3 points in her development took place, she realized that she is only partly resembles the Keter, because the Keter, naturally the Keter doesn't have no one who can give him. In this, she realized this resemblance with the Keter. But now, the Keter can give, has what to give. It gives. Not only says, no, I don't receive from anyone, but the Keter can give, has what to give, has the light Chokhmah gives to the world, to other Sfirot. Then, from the 4th point of here, she wanted to resemble the Keter also in this, by receiving the light of Chokhmah a bit, and in order to give it to her descendants, to Zeranpin and Nukva, because there were still 2 stages to go in order to realize the potential, to realize the perfect stage that would then become a creation, the Malchut. This is the point of the utter perfectness, and not upper 4 properties. Keter, Chokhmah, Binah, Zeranpin. These are only the properties of the light, actually. And so we see that in the light, in the 10 Sfirot of the Or Yashar, of the direct light, that's what we have spoken about, from the 4th point of the Binah up till the 10th point, the point of the Binah, she wanted already to receive the light in order to give it to the lower. And these 7 Sfirot from here 7 Sfirot from the Chesed up till the Malchut, the name of them are Zayin Tachtonot Zat. And when during the stay of the Binah in the head, there was no problem about this, because in the head she was next to the Chokhmah, and she received the Mochin, the Rosh, the light of the Rosh. Over there was not seen the difference between them. All 10 Sfirot of here received the light of Chokhmah, but no difference was it between them. Okay, the Gar didn't receive the light Chokhmah she didn't want, but the Zat received the Chokhmah. Yeah, the Gar in the head, when the Binah was in the head, her Gar, her 3 first Sfirot, didn't want to receive the light, and only received only the Or Chasadim. No problem. You can do what you want. There is no violence, no pushing in the spirituality. If you like this, she like this from that moment, from the very beginning. This is the quality of the Binah, and remember these two parts of the Binah, these two different stages of the Binah, the Gar and the Zat. The Zat want to receive the Binah, the light of Chokhmah. But now the Binah has descended from the head to the Guf, all 10 Sfirot. Now the Gar, the 3 first Sfirot of the Binah, doesn't have problem with this descending in the Guf, because neither in her staying in the head, she wanted receiving Mochin the Rosh, the light of the Rosh. But the Zat, the 7 lower Sfirot, lower, or how we can call it, onderste, the 7 below, lower Sfirot of the last Sfirot of the Binah, they feel this as a damage, because they now, they don't have they don't feel neither the Mochin of the Rosh, but they need it. Yes, they need this Mochin of the Rosh in order to give to the law. So they experience the difference, what we said, what I've said before, that all of them are 10 Sfirot of the Binah. It was one unit. Yes, when it was in the head, it was 10 Sfirot of the Binah, one spiritual object. But now, the Binah descended from the head. Here, 3 first Sfirot doesn't need the Or Chokhmah, the Mochin the Rosh. And she doesn't experience, doesn't feel the damage. But the Zat, the 7 lower of her Sfirot, now they are differ from this point, from the Gar. So they feel that they feel this shortage, this lack of the Mochin of the Chokhmah, of the Mochin the Chokhmah, Mochin the Rosh, so as we say. And that's why they now become, as it were, different from the Gar of the Binah, the different they acquire a different property from the Gar of the Binah. And that's why they are, we see now here a clear division between these two parts of the Binah. But this is only in the state of Katnut. In the state of Gadlut, they will again unite themselves. Why? They will rise up again to the head, and once they are in the head, they have no difference, not this special difference that they had in the small stage, in the Katnut. And the Binah, remember, descends from the head, from the Rosh, only in the Katnut. It's obvious, yes, because the Keter and Chokhmah remain in the Rosh, and the Malchut is standing in place where the Binah stood, and the Binah descended out of the head. We say it Binah, but naturally it's also the Zeir Anpin and Malchut. Yes, we say it Binah because always we, in the Kabbalah, always we are speaking about the highest unit, highest level of something. But naturally that Zeir Anpin and Malchut also descended together with the Binah, of course. So it was an introduction of my introduction that probably will clarify a little bit the question, so we can go on with the Hasulam, with the Marot Hasulam. Maybe you feel more questions than before. Also, this is good. The questions are your treasure. See, your treasury. And step by step, you will find the answers by learning and yearning for the unity, dvikut, with the light. 26, after our point that we placed after the bracket. Uvaor haze ein shum 27 shinui ben heyoto barosh leven heyoto baguf ki 28 hu meir tamid b'shaveh v'al ken gam yitziyat habina 29 lachutz mirosh eina mimata mivchina gar umochin 30 derosh ulefichach nivdalu gar de bina bifnei atzman 31 v'na'asu lepartzufei aba v'yima elaim anechshavot lefhina 32 gar afal pi shehem omdim kvar mipe ulemata 33 the Arichan Pin point. Very, very important what he says to us, because everything is built up like this. What we see now in the Binah, can we see everywhere later the same kind of relationship. Look, so now he speaks about this, he speaks about the Garde Binah, the three first Sfirot of the Binah, and that they are, as you remember, they represent or they receive the light or prefer the light Chasadim. Uva or hazeh, and in this light of Chasadim, ein shum shinui ben hayoto barosh. Look at what he says. There is no absolute, no any difference between ben hayoto barosh, between its standing in the rosh, in the head, leben hayoto baguf, or it's standing in the guf. You see, for the light Hasadim doesn't matter. The light Hasadim is everywhere, light Hasadim. Of this light of the Bina. Because 28, Hu meir tamid b'shaveh, because this light, very important quality of this, property of this light, or Hasadim, look, because this light, or Hasadim, shines always equal. You see, always equal. And this is a very, very, very important feature. That's why if you work on yourself, you can always ask for this light of Hasadim by bringing yourself into connection with the upper, by bringing man above, and asking for katnut. In the katnut we have this stage, and in the right line we always have this light Hasadim, and this light Hasadim doesn't have these variations. It always shines equally, balanced. That's why we need to work, to try in every situation, come to this light. If we receive more, Baruch Hashem. How do you say it? The Baruch Hashem. Praise the Lord. You see, but if we don't receive, we are remaining in this equal light that shines always the same. 1,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago, yesterday, 2 minutes ago, absolutely in the same way, the same light. And this we must cultivate in ourselves, that this light must be always on the behind, as it were, in our right light. We must feel this light, and if we know how it tastes, and more we can, then more and more can we rely on it. And when we feel this, we don't see the problems that seem to be in us, in the world. I mean, the problems, not the real problems, but the problems are when we see something and we can change it, or like this, but not. And actually, all the problems are because we don't rely upon this light that always shines equally. Because then we would be quiet, and we would build up this on the basis of this. Or Hasadim, you can build up everything. Very important. And you see, I look at my students, for instance. I don't look at them what they. This is not the prime goal, not the prime, as it were, mark, or that what they know. how they know, about what they know about the Sphirot, the worlds, etc. But I look at them, firstly, and this is the most important thing, is in how they, this one or another one, how he managed within the last 3 months, because every 3 months we have radical changes if you study Kabbalah. So it's like 4 seasons in the year. Then I look at someone, and not I look, I feel it. And I feel, and there's only one criterion. How he or she has succeeded in this period to cover itself with or chasadim. You see? Through the kilim that he or she acquired in this period. So, and this is, you can see it because this light is always equal. Equal, it means that that you can see and feel it with in another person, because then I try to make this to feel whether they are going, whether they place the chesed, the light of chasadim, above themselves, because within themselves, as within every person, we have gvurot, we have dinim, we have klipot, we have all kinds of these things that we need to correct. But from outside, you see the more layers, the deeper layers of chesed, of chasadim. This is the mark, how do you say it, yeah? This is what the sign, this is the sign that shows the progress of a person. Remember this. And if I feel that someone is protesting, fighting, in different way, sometimes someone wants to come with the questions, one question, another question, it's fighting, and I feel it. Like in the Zohar lesson. Someone, more and more questions, and the questions come just as it were, as fighting. You know, about through the as it were, as protest, as not be able or not wanting to rely during the lesson upon this or chasadim. That always brings the equivalence, always equivalent, always is in serenity. So that's what he says as that the first 3 sphirot, the gar of the Binah, has no difference between their standing in the Rosh or between their standing in the Guf, because this light is equal and everywhere this light is chasadim. You see, it is light of giving. It is the property of giving. The Binah is, the trait, the trait of giving. You see, and this is, you can do it everywhere, the same. That's why it's very important to cultivate it in yourself. 28. V'alken gam yitziyat habina lechutz mirosh, and that's why also the coming out of the rosh of the bina, enamit ma'ata b'fchina gar, makes her not less than the aspect of gar and mochin the rosh, because the bina, look, the bina is always this bina, the guard of the bina. There's the three first of the bina, the three first sfirot of the bina are always gar, always three first sfirot, but always have the mochin of the rosh. You see, they have the mochin of the rosh instead, even when she is outside of the rosh, descended out of the rosh. Why? Because she has this or chasadim, but not just normal or chasadim, but or chasadim of hair being in the head. This doesn't change. Yes, in the head she has this or chasadim, full with mochin the rosh, and now she descended. She has the same or chasadim, and this is also gar. Three first, the quality of the gar of the bina, or in the as gar, as three first sfirot. Very important is to know this difference. And now, she has descended from the rosh. Ulefichach nivdalu gar de bina bifnei atzman, and that's why they gar the bina, the three first sfirot of the bina, they were separated for themselves as a separate unity. Yes, as I've told already, as we spoken already, that they remain as one, as the first spiritual object. V'nasu 31, the partsufei Abba v'ima line, and they became as partsufim Abba v'ima, the higher partsufim Abba v'ima, anechshavot evchenat gar, that are considered as being gar. What does it mean? Look, that they now, these three, very important to understand this. These three first sfirot of the bina, of Arichanpin, now have a separate trait in comparison to, comparing to the seven lower sfirot of the lowest sfirot of the bina. And now they became here on this place as a separate parsuf. Parsuf means that it has its own 10 sfirot, independent 10 sfirot. Why? Because now they separated, as it were, themselves from the seven lowest sphirot of the Binah. Why? Because they are different of properties. You see? And then they became now the higher, they call it, the name of it, the higher Abba v'Ima, father and mother. The higher father and mother. Father means that refers to the Chokhmah of the Binah. And Binah refers also to the Binah that is connected to this Abba, the father. But for the first time, the Binah is called Abba and Ima, father and mother. Because why? Because of the function what they fulfill now. They came out. The Binah came down from the head in order to bring, to allow their children to correct themselves and to receive all the correction, light, tikkun. That's why the name of these partsufim is Abba and Ima. Father and mother, like father and mother take care about their children. The same is here. And they are considered as Gar, as three first Sphirot. I mean by their traits, yeah? They are like Gar. They have now 10 Sphirot. Yes, this is very important to still always to keep in mind, that something can be, everything has two aspects, general and particular. If we now are looking at this Gar de Binah, or let's say Abba v'Ima, the higher Abba v'Ima that became these partsufim, masculine and feminine. I will explain it, why these two. From the Binah, we have now feminine and masculine. But why they became 10 Sphirot, full partsufim. So, from one point of view, they are Gar. From the general point of view, they are Gar of the Binah. Three first Sphirot of the Binah only. But if you look at them as a particular unit, then we see that they have 10 Sphirot of their own. Even 10 Sphirot has the Abba, and 10 Sphirot has Ima. So this always keep in mind. Where the Zohar speaks about the general aspect of something or of the particular. And here he speaks about the general aspect. He says that Abba v'Ima, the higher Abba v'Ima, they are considered as Gar, as three first Sphirot. By quality. Their quality is only light or chasadim. Very, very important to know about this. but still they are gar. You see, very important to know that they are gar. So they are gar, they are as it were, ahead of the lower partsuf, of all the lower partsufim of the Atzilut. You see, Keter Chochma of the Arichanpin, they are as it were separated. Now the Binah has descended to the Guf. Look, very important now what I want to say. Now in the Guf, every Guf, what is the quality of the Guf? What is the trait of the Guf? Guf has Vak, 6 endings. Only 6 endings, without head. And now this Binah became like Vak. She descended to the Guf, but still she remains, only this Gar remains the quality of the Rosh. In the Rosh, she didn't receive the Chokhmah, and now she doesn't receive Chokhmah, but she is the same like in Rosh. So she is actually, or the Abba V'Ima, these Partsufim, that now separated from the Binah, that separates the Binah, Gar and Zat, and 7 lower Sfirot. They are Gar, so they are actually the Rosh, the head of that what is below. They are head to whom? To everything that is in this area. So behind below them we find the 7 lower Sfirot of the Binah. Also they separated themselves, as it were, of course, from the Gar of the Binah. Also they received other names, but they are as a Guf. And then we have Zeir Anpin and Nukwa. All of them are Vak. Yes, Zeir Anpin is also Vak. The quality of Zeir Anpin is also 6 Sfirot. The 7 lower Sfirot of the Binah also Vak, 6 Sfirot, plus the Malchut. And Zeir Anpin and Nukwa has the same structure as the Binah. Look, that's very important what I want to say. That the Binah is now divided in 2, in the Gar and in the Zat, in the 3 first Sfirot and in 7 lower Sfirot. The same structure we see with the Zeir Anpin and Nukwa. Okay, but the most important fact is the most important thing that we now see is that this Gar de Binah, or Abba V'Ima, the upper Abba V'Ima, the father and the mother, that they are Gar, they are Rosh. So the lower now, the lower spiritual objects have now the Rosh, a kind of the Rosh they have, and the Rosh we need in order to come to the Gadlut. Without a Rosh we can't come to the Gadlut. So the Binah, the Gar, the Binah have, due to the fact that they are Rosh, they also can come to the Rosh, can return to the Rosh, and then they can take with them the lower level together to the Rosh, and to shine upon them from the Rosh the light of Gadlut, the motion of Gadlut. 32. So we said that the higher Abba V'Ima, they are considered as Gar, as 3 first Sfirot. Afalpi, despite the fact that they are standing already from the Peh and below of the Arichanpin. Okay? If you don't see it yet, and I can imagine that you can't see it, probably what I'm speaking about. You have the figures, you have these that we sent you before. You can look at them, you can keep it next to you, and to see also with your eyes what he's speaking about. So now the Bina or Abuima, higher Abuima, standing from the Peh and beneath of the Arich Anpin. Point 33. Aval Hazad de Bina She'einana Etzem Habina 34. Elahen Mivchinat Hitkalalut Hazon Babina. Hinei 35. Hen Tzrichot Gam Le'arat Chochma Bigdei Lehashpia 36. Lezon Velachen Hen Hasovlot Min Apgam Haze De Yitziyat 37. Bina Mirosh Arichanpin Kina Su Baze Lemechusarei 38. Chochma Valken Hen Nivchanotata Levchinat Vak 39. Veguf Bechisaron Hamochen de Rosh. If you feel that I read it too fast, doesn't matter, I don't read fast. This is the natural rhythm. How to read in the way that all four points, units, all four covenants with the light are connected with each other. So it's a kind of like here on earth we are speaking about the biological rhythm. So we are speaking about we need every time when we are touching the Kabbalah, we need, and Zohar in particular, we need to connect, to make all these connections, allowing the spiritual rhythm. You know, Ruchaniyut, we call it. You see, a biological rhythm, yes, so in the same way we have this spiritual rhythm. And this is slowly, it is not, because we must taste it. Look at how the aristocracy eat. You know, there is less aristocracy now, but if you look at movies, old movies, romantic movies, doesn't matter. But even now, if you see someone who is well educated and well formed, and has an inner culture, a deep culture here, even in this material world, look how the person eats. slowly. You can't break him, even he has a great hunger. He will just prepare his place, the table, the spoon, the handkerchief, everything. Then he will sit a little bit, he will come to itself, to his biological rhythm, slowly, and then he will start slowly eating. It doesn't matter who, even the queen should want to come to him. You said, it's my dinner time. It's a very important thing. So the same is in the spirituality. Everything is closed. Now I taste the light. I'm eating. I'm receiving the light. This is the same way, the same thing. I'm eating. I'm eating the spiritual light. I'm eating, like here we drink wine and we eat bread. So we receive the wine and bread from the sky. I mean the sky, I mean from the spirituality. So you must feel it. It's exactly the same. That's why if you properly learn spiritual things, you don't need to eat, to drink, nothing. When I'm studying the Zohar or every kind of Ari, I don't think a moment, and I don't feel a moment that I need to eat or to drink something. I would probably could do it all the night and all the day, but of course we have some material things to do, but actually this gives everything, nutrition. All the nutrition we need, all the nutrition a person needs, I mean the neshama needs, our real me is only this bread and wine from what we receive, and bread is or chasadim, and the light chokhmah is wine. That's what we are speaking about when we are making bracha, blessing on wine and on bread, on Shabbat, on Yom Tov, on holidays. This is all about the same, it's exactly the same. And now we are returning back to the point where we started the sentence 33. And now look what he says, what he speaks about the Zat of the Binah, of the 7 lowest Sfirot of the Binah. Aval Azad the Binah, but the 7 lowest Sfirot of the Binah, Sheinan Etzem Binah, that they are not actually the Binah itself. Look, this is, you remember why they are not actually the Binah? Look at very important thing, that they are the 7 lowest of the Binah. They are not actually the Binah. The Binah wants only Chasadim. This is the quality of the Binah. You remember what this, when the Binah decided to receive the light in order to give, but this is not here. Her property is only chasadim, but in order to give to her children from the 4th up till the 10th Sphira, she prolongs herself, as it were, like a mother does in this world, yeah? Does a mother need this belly with a child that is inside? Is this the personality of a mother? Is the belly qualifies a mother? Without belly, she is a mother. She is a woman. This is her quality, her essence, but not this. So, but in order to give to her children, she, as it were, puts in her belly is the child, as it were, feather. But this is not her personality. The same is with the Binah. Binah is only the first three represent the quality of the Binah, the trait of the Binah, only the first three Sfirot. The inclusion of the Zeir Anpin, of the zone, of the Zeir Anpin is 6 and the Nukwa is 1. The inclusion of their children, the Zeir Anpin and Nukwa in her, built her up, her lower 7 Sfirot, so they are not of her, they are belonging as it were to her relation to the Zeir Anpin and Nukwa, her children. So step by step you will learn this godly family, how it works, the Binah, the property of the Binah. So that's what he says, Aval Azad, but the 7 lowest Sfirot of the Binah, Sheinan Etzem Binah, that they are not really the Binah itself, that they are not the Binah itself. 34. Ela hen mifhinata hit kalalut azon bebinah, but they are, look what he says, but they are only the aspect of the inclusion of the zone of the Zeir Anpin and the Nukwa in the Binah. Zeir Anpin is, and Nukwa is 7, and they are also 7. So this is a kind of roots of this son of her children. Hinei hen tzrichot gam leharata chokhmah. Look at it, he says, behold, they need also the shining of the chokhmah, the 7 lowest of the Binah, bichdei lehashpia lezon, in order to give them, to bestow the zone, to give them to the zone. 36. Velachen hena sovlot min hapagam hazeh. Look, that's why they suffer from this damage of the descending out of the head, the Yitziat Binah mirosh Arich Anpin, from of this damage of the outcoming of the Binah from the Rosh of the Arich Anpin. 37 after the comma. Kinasu bazel mechusrei chokhmah, because they became, because of this, they became lacking the chokhmah. They had plenty of chokhmah in the head, but now they can't receive the chokhmah. 38. Valken, and that's why they are considered now as the aspect vak, 6 endings. They have only 6. 39. Veguf, and the guf, and the body, bechisaron hamochin the rosh, whereby the mochin, the rosh, the light of the rosh, is lacking. They lack it. Point. And the last sentence of today. Umisibat hapagam 40 hazeh nivdalu migarde bina v'nasu lepartzuf nivdal 41 hanikra Yisrael sabaut tfuna. Point. Umisibat hapagam hazeh, and because of this damage, 40, Nivdalu migarde bina, they separated themselves from the garde bina. V'nasu, and they became lepartsuf nivdal, and separated as an separated partsuf on themselves. 41. Hanikra, that which partsuf is called Yisrael Saba Utvuna. Yisrael Saba, the old Israel. This is the masculine part of this partsuf. Actually, is the same oak like Abba is also has 10 sfirot. Utvuna and Tvuna. And the Tvuna is the feminine part of this partsuf. And when we say 10 sfirot, we mean that when they are in Gadlut, of course. But then when they are, they will unite themselves in the state of Gadlut, then they will again become 10 sfirot, only 10 sfirot of the Binah. You see, when they become in the state of Gadlut, they unite themselves, the 7 lowest sfirot of the Binah with the Binah with 3 first of the Binah, and they rise up to the head, and then they don't have this division in all these partsufim that they have in the state of Katnut, but they will become only 10 sfirot of the Binah. It's a lot of information what we had in this lesson, but very, very important. So try work it out. What you don't understand, keep it for granted. Be happy with this, because they form your treasury. And step by step, because step by step I know what I'm giving in this lesson. So as I learn from my teachers, and they are now your teachers, Ari, the authors of the Zohar, Shimon Bar Yochai, and others, and Yehuda Ashlak with his great commentaries. I already experienced with them that they don't let me alone, that they don't let me with questions. Step by step, when they see and they feel that they need to reveal it to me, they do it. And if they don't reveal to me, then I take it for granted. So do please the same with me, because I rely upon them. So we make one line. I've tried to make one line with them. And so be also happy with what you learn in every lesson.